Hey there YouTube world, Matt Schwartz here, the Welding Geek, and on this episode of the Welding Geek, I'm making this right here. Left leg wrap for the Mandalorian costume. So if you want to see how I went about making this piece, stay tuned to the video. Alright, we are going to start with just a big chunk of leather to start out with. I will link in the description below where I got that leather from. It'll be linked to my Amazon Associates account, so if you use that, that'd be great. If not, that's cool too. The first thing I'm doing here is putting a hem on the bottom chunk of the leather. You actually want to start with quite a bit bigger chunk of leather than what you need, at least lengthwise, because what I'm doing here is I put the hem on, and then I fold the leather over itself to make the first, there's 6 sets of loops or an overlapping layer texture in the bottom of this boot wrap, and I'm just going to make these 6 overlaps just by stitching it over and over and over again over top of itself to get that texture and that feature that we're looking forward to. So that's what I'm doing here. Alright, so now I'm on my 6th and final pass. When you're doing these overlaps, you want to make sure you're overlapping it enough to hide your stitching. It's about a 1/2 of an inch in each of these loops, and it should look about like this when you're done. It gives it that nice little overlap feature that's on the bottom of this leg wrap. Now I'm going to move on to the top section here. And this is basically, I've lapped the leather over top of itself and then back over again, so the shiny side is back facing on the top side. And then I have a different chunk of leather, a different color here, that I'm stitching over the top of all of it. And I'm going to make the top stitch through all 3 or 4 layers of leather here, and then I'm going to unfold it on the other side, so there's kind of a loop underneath, and then stitch it across the bottom. Alright, so what I'm going to work on next is the closure. And first what I'm going to do here is sew in some Velcro. Got the hook side here, and I've cut out a little chunk up into the flap there, just so when I bring the other side, the loop side, over, you can kind of mate them together to make them look semi like one piece. Alright, for the other side of this, I don't want any stitching on the outside of this leg wrap, so I'm using sticky back Velcro, and I'm actually going to glue this down with some E6000 glue because I don't want the stitching showing through on the back side. So that's what I'm going to do here. Alright, I'm going to start working on that front lower feature. I don't even know what to call it. I just have some hardboard here, and I have my template. I'm going to spray glue this down and then cut it out with a bandsaw, and then I will sand the edges to make it nice and soft. Alright, so I've glued the face of the hardboard onto this different colored leather here to start off with, and now I'm going to use this barge cement all the way around the edges here and on the top. You're going to want to let that sit for 5 or 10 minutes or until it's kind of tacky or almost dry with the contact cement, and then just fold it over and stretch it out nice and tight. And I'm going to do the same exact thing with the barge cement. I'm just going to barge this strip of leather down on here because there's no stitching on it, so I'm just going to glue it down. Alright, I've let my cement get dry here, or tacky, and I'm just pulling this around so it's nice and tight and smooth on the front side. I'm going to kind of press it down with this piece of wood, either burnisher for leather or whatever they call it, and then I'm going to clip off these excess edges. Alright, now I'm going to try to figure out the location of where this front plate piece goes. Lay it out, trace it with the white pencil, and then I'm going to barge the back of it and barge the little section that I marked out with a pencil and let it sit for your 5 or 10 minutes and then just glue it down. Alright, next up on the docket is making this pouch that goes on the side. I drew up some templates in AutoCAD for the pieces I thought that I would need to make this pouch. So I have my main piece and then the little accent piece that goes on the outside. And then I just have a couple 1-inch strips for the strap. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do here is press down some lines in the leather that give me bending places for the edges, kind of creasing the leather, because I'm going to barge cement glue the seams on this thing, and I just want a good place. I want it to lay how it should, so I'm going to crease all these things down to make it easier for me. Then I'm going to stitch all these pieces into place. Just giving it a nice top stitch all the way around, and then we'll get it glued together with some barge cement. Alright, using my barge cement, I'm going to put the barge on the places where I want it to adhere, let it sit for the 5 or 10 minutes, and then press it down nice and firm where I want it to be. Next, I'm going to put some filler in this pouch so it's just not some floppy pouch. I'm just going to use some of this 1-inch foam, cut out a square that will fit in there, and then stuff the pouch. Alright, since I'm actually not going to be using this pouch, I'm actually just going to glue it shut. So I'm going to mark this with my white pencil so I know where to put the barge glue. And then I'm going to glue this thing all down. And just like that, I got my pretty little pouch here. Pretty happy with how this came out. And once again, now I'm just going to use my barge cement to glue this thing down and into place. Now it's time for weathering. I've already kind of started a little bit, but I have a Scotch Brite pad here, and I'm just trying to rough up the surface, give a place for when I go to black wash it. The black watered down paint will actually kind of stain it a little bit, make it look a little dirty. I've got my knife, just kind of trying to put some scoring marks in it, trying to rough it up, just try to make it look like it's been beat up and old. That would actually use a paraffin wax candle. Put some wax down on there, and this is a little buffing pad. I'm just trying to bring some luster out of the leather as I'm working it here, and just trying to make it look like it's been used a lot. Whatever little tricks I could think of. So the top section of this thing is actually a little more felty looking. It doesn't look like it's shiny like it does in the picture, so I'm just taking some black shoe polish and trying to rub it down really hard to make it kind of shiny and black, and make it look more like it's a shiny piece of leather than the more felty looking leather. It worked pretty well. You kind of see the contrast between what it looked like and what it looks like now, so I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so I'm going to just do my standard black washing. A little bit of black paint, some water to water it down, and then I'm just going to start doing layers and layers and layers of the black paint. I'm trying to hit my edges where grit would stick, and drying away the rest, trying to make it look like it's been used for a long time. now that I'm done with the black, I'm going to add a little bit of a cream color, just some highlights, some sand looking colors. It's kind of the same process, just to add a little bit of more layers to it. And that's more or less it. Looks pretty good. You can see the depth of the edges, how beat up it is. It makes it look like it's been worn a long time. Got some scratches in there. I'm really, really excited about how this came out. All right. That is the left leg wrap video. I hope that was informative. You guys learned some stuff into that. I certainly did. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this piece came out. I think of the show it's not quite split like this in the back, but this is going to work awesome for what I'm wanting. So I'm very happy with how this came out. If you guys are liking my channel, please subscribe. Comment if you got any questions, like the videos if you're liking them. And I really appreciate all the time you guys have spent watching my videos. We've got more stuff coming up. Probably will do the boot video next or the right gauntlet. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided which one I want to edit through. I also have the sash and a bunch of other videos to edit and get those rolling. So if you want to continue on this ride with me, stay tuned for some more videos coming here in the future. Like I said, I will be at C2E2 for the big reveal of this whole kit on February 29th. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to do a video on the whole convention experience. So that'll be a lot of fun. You guys can be looking forward to that too. So yeah, my name is Matt Schwartz. I'm the Welding Geek. Thanks again, guys.